Yeah, I can hear you.
I get your
Typing in the chat. Okay. Yeah.
this for TESL 343 again.
Yeah.
And is this for part-time?
Yeah.
You think the system? Okay, so Andy,
Yes.
when last we left off, I asked you to email John
Yes.
with this question.
Mhm. Mhm.
So did you get a hold of him?
Yeah.
Because I emailed him too,
Yes.
asking him the same question.
Mhm.
Just wanted to make sure that the answers that both understand
Yeah.
what I said. So did you want to talk about that? Or
Yeah. I can share you what he said to me for those questions. Yeah, you see it?
There we go. Okay, let's see. So, first the questions. Look at the first chapters, but this is one chapter. Okay, that makes sense so far.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And yeah, that's the same answer he sent.
Mhm.
So questions number one and number two, they're talking about two different things in the project. So I believe question number one has to do with type, and question number two deals with the objectives. And those are supposed to be two separate things.
Mhm. Mhm.
Let's see. Just as for the psychometric criteria, just not really take it. Didn't do so well the first time.
Because I didn't turn in the. It was because I didn't turn in the assignments on time. That's the reason why last time.
Right. So hey, listen, it's absolutely crucial, so important that you turn this in on time.
Mhm.
Even if you feel like you're not ready, if you feel like um, you could correct a few things, or if you feel like you want to speak to a tutor like me first
Mhm.
to help you edit, just don't do that. If if it's gonna put you past the due date,
Mhm.
just forget suffer each day. That's more than the amount of points that I can possibly get you by helping you correct.
Mhm.
It's not worth it. Turning it in on time is worth so much more. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Yes.
Um, the other detail that I want to point out to you,
Yes.
and I forgot to mention this last week,
Mhm.
but John Armour doesn't say anything about whether part 5 has to be in PDF or as a Word document.
Mhm.
So I also asked, and he responded, and he said that he wants it to be in PDF also.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know if you noticed that, but if you look at the amendment front or
Yeah, this doesn't say it has to be a PDF or not in the prompt for this part 5.
but he did answer me,
Yeah.
and he said yes.
Okay. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So remember that detail.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, um, so does the assignment make sense to you? Like, do you understand how to begin it, what to do, et cetera, all that stuff?
Yeah, I kind of have something right now for the first 2 questions. I didn't work on the next 2 parts for my own paper, and then I do
Okay.
my classmates my reflection of their paper.
Okay.
Yeah, right now I have the first 2 questions.
Okay, great. Let's have a look at it. This is it right here.
These two. Yeah.
Okay. So the first one, how well did your assessment measure the accomplishment of your objectives? Okay, do me a favor
Mm-hmm.
and just read that paragraph that you got right there under number 1.
Okay. I think my assessment measures the accomplishments of my objectives well, and it did what it was supposed to do. It measures the child's academic progress in terms of goals and improving their ability to speak a second language. Students can receive positive feedback and learn from their peers and experiences in the classroom. The activities mentioned in my term paper can be done in pairs if students are struggling with understanding the assignment.
Okay. Well, what do you think so far?
This part don't the changes will be in the last question, right? I don't need to change about the so-called needed change.
What's your question?
Like if I said it was okay, but at the same time I find something I might want it to change, it would be like in the last question, right? In the question four.
Let's see. How well did your assessment measure the accomplishment of your objectives? Um, yeah, well, so I think for number one and number two,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you don't necessarily discuss what you would have done differently if you had a second chance.
Mm-hmm.
You just talk about, you know, whether you're satisfied with the work that you produced,
Mm-hmm.
whether you think what you did, the assessment that you created, uh, did it successfully measure the objectives that you set out for it to measure. And then same thing for number two
Mm-hmm.
is how well did your assessment fulfill the purpose that you had for your assessment? So again, go back to the purpose section of your term paper and
Mm-hmm.
just review it so it's fresh in your mind. And then once again, you know, are you happy with it? Are you satisfied? Do you think it did everything that it's supposed to? You know, this is
Mm-hmm.
this is where you kind of explain whether you're satisfied or disappointed or what.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You don't necessarily go into detail just yet,
Mm-hmm.
or as what you would change, because like you said, that part comes later.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. Okay.
Oh, what about the overall, like, just grammar and structure of the paragraph under number one? You happy with that, or what?
Um, mm, I think some of these can be reworded differently. Like the sentences. Right now I have like four sentences in here.
Yeah. What part? Show me.
Mhm. With the first one,
Right there.
yeah, the first one.
Any assessment measures the accomplishments by objectives well. Okay. Citation. Keywords.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's set this to you right now. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
It says assessment successfully reached the objectives by step.
Yeah, okay.
Is that okay to you?
Yeah, okay.
Successfully see what happens.
It's a redundant.
Um, okay, get rid of it.
Okay.
I believe my assessment accomplished the objectives I established. Yeah, that sounds a lot more clean.
Oh, okay.
You're right. All right. Anything else about this paragraph?
The second sentence.
Here's the child's.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna send this to you right now.
Okay.
So it says it measures academic progress insofar as full second language.
Okay.
Sound okay?
Yeah. Is the word insofar supposed to be together?
Um, yeah, do me a favor, copy the whole thing and paste it onto your document, and let's see if anything becomes underlined. So we'll,
Okay.
no, no, it doesn't look like anything's getting flagged. I think we're okay.
Okay.
Just academic progress insofar as for achievement in second language position. Yeah, technically you can use insofar as one word.
Okay.
It's see insofar its synonyms are regarding,
Mm-hmm.
um, in relation to,
Mm-hmm.
pertaining to, etc., etc. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. Um,
Or as far as.
mm,
It's also all right. Anything else about this? All right.
yes. The third sentence here?
Let's see. Students can receive positive feedback on these experiences in the classroom. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to send this to you.
Okay.
So it says test takers receive feedback and scaffolding from fellow group members.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Are you familiar with the word scaffolding?
I think I remember it was mentioned in the prompts for the term paper or in the book, in the textbook.
Just as a quick refresher, scaffolding means whenever there's a project,
Mm-hmm.
just like the role play that you created for the society.
Mm-hmm.
There's a weaker student
Mm-hmm.
who's falling behind. Stronger students,
Mm-hmm.
so that the stronger students' abilities influence the weaker student and help him along. And by doing that, the weaker student will pick up some of the habits and knowledge of the stronger student. But they're able to catch up
Mm-hmm.
a lot quicker that way than if all the students just worked individually always. Because if all the students work individually always,
Mm-hmm.
the weak students tend to stay weak, and the strong students are the ones who get stronger.
Mm. Okay.
So scaffolding is a way to, bring the weaker students up to speed to the same level as everybody else. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So Cole, then that would be kind of similar to this last sentence here, then, would it be?
Well, let me see. The activities mentioned in my term project can be done in pairs if students are struggling with understanding. Yeah, it's kind of repetitive. And it's not just that, but that last sentence right there
Mm-hmm.
seems a bit confusing.
Oh, okay.
Because if I recall correctly, um, the activity that you created for your term paper
Mm-hmm.
um, involves a group role play,
Mm-hmm.
like more than just pairs. Each group has maybe like what 4 or 5 students.
Yeah.
So it says here the activities mentioned in my term project can be done in pairs if students are struggling with understanding this in pairs. I thought it was supposed to be in groups of 4 or 5. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
How that could be confusing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like whoever's looking at your assignment will say, "Hey, wait a second. The activity is like a role play, a
Mm-hmm.
group role play, and each role play has 4 or 5 people. Why is she talking about pairs?"
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's kind of confusing.
Okay,
So
so
not only is it repetitive,
mm-hmm.
but the information in that final sentence contradicts uh, your entire project.
Okay, so I should just delete it, right?
Yeah, I would just.
Okay.
Yeah, you ready to move on?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'll
Okay,
go to the
do
next
me a
one.
favor, just read number 2 out loud.
Okay. How well did your assessment fulfill the purpose that you had for your assessment? My assessment was used to grade the students fairly since the students will be graded with the same checklist. The checklists are different for the three assessments. The only similarity is that in the first assessment, the checklist meant is meant for the students and is the same one in the second assessment for the teacher to use to grade the students. That's because the first and second assessments are similar activities where the students get to act out the shopping scenarios with their classmates and teacher. All the activities mentioned in this assessment are ways that could the students improve their listening, speaking, and writing skills.
Okay. Well, first of all, I think you noticed that you committed a few mistakes
Yeah.
with grammar.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you go ahead and make those corrections to the best of your ability. And then what I'll do is I'll let you tell me um, what you want me to look at, and then I'll help you edit it, clean it up a little bit more. But for now, just make those corrections as best as you can.
Yeah, okay.
Then tell me when you're done.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I'm done.
Good.
Yeah.
Um, do me a favor. Highlight the section that you corrected so I can look at it.
Okay. Right now I'm still cool. This sentence.
Okay. Checklists are different for three assessments. Similarly, first assessment. Student checklist meant for students to use during the first assessment. Thing one, the second assessment. The teacher to use, grade the students. Does that sound okay to you?
I think the way I have it seems kind of confusing in some way.
Yeah, it's a little bit confusing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. You want me to start with this one first?
Yeah, we can start with this one first.
Okay. Let me see. I might need to ask
Yes.
some of this seems a little confusing, but I don't know. to type to correct it.
Hmm.
I don't understand. So, see, checklists are different from assessments. So, just assessment. Okay. Checklists. So, hey, Andy, let me ask you something. When you say checklists for the assessments, what do you mean by that? What checklists are you talking
The checklist I use to so-called rate the students in my assessment.
about? Oh, so you're talking about like the rubric.
Yeah, the rubric checklist.
Got it. Okay. Okay.
It's just
You need that for assessments.
yes, I'm at so-called two of them are like similar, which is the role play. One's like when the day three for the second one, and then the last one was like where they were able to count money on. Yeah. So-called just the wording for the criteria for that one are different in some ways. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Hey, Mandy,
Yes.
who's making all that?
My little brother.
What's your little brother's name?
Oh, he just left.
The similarity is that first assessment student checklist meant for students to use during the first assessment, and is the same one in the second assessment for the teacher used to grade students. So, okay, it looks like what you're trying to say is that the checklist that you used for assessments 1 and 2 are the same, but then the checklist for assessment 3 is different. Is that what you're trying to say?
Kind of. It's just that in the first one, there's also a teacher one. In the teacher one is totally different from the checklist for the student. And
Uh-huh.
then in the second assessment, it was for the day three activity. It's so called. It's the same checklist as the student one. I just deleted the words customer slash teacher's question about the merchandise and payment. I just made it customers question about merchant salesperson ability to respond to customers question about merchandise and payment. I just delete the word teacher for the second
Okay.
assessment, the checklist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually a lot more details than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure how to type all that into a simple sentence. I could say something like this. So let me type this into the chat and then you tell me if it's good enough.
Uh,
But it might be missing some important details
mm-hmm.
that you mentioned. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to send this to you right now. Have a look. So it says the checklists used for assessments 1 and 2 are similar, while the one for assessment 3 is different. Now, is that good enough? Does that say enough? Or did you also want to include um, all the other details that you mentioned? Because if you want to include all the other details, I don't think it's gonna fit into one sentence. You're gonna need a separate sentence
Mm,
to
okay.
include those details. So it just depends on, you know, what you want to say.
Uh, then I think they can have another sentence for that part too. For again, too.
Okay. Okay. Well, I tell you what, why don't you go ahead and um, come up with a sentence um, on your own time,
Uh,
and then you can come back to me later this week,
uh,
and I'll have a look at it. I'll help you clean it up. But
okay.
for now, what else about this paragraph would you like me to correct?
The last
Well,
sentence.
first, copy what I put into the chat
Mm,
and replace it. Okay,
okay.
and then just keep in mind, maybe put like a note box or a note bubble
Mm,
next to that sentence, and you can type a reminder for yourself or something that you need an extra sentence after this one uh, to provide more detail.
okay. Yeah.
Do you know how to do that?
Yeah, I'll remember to do that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, actually, Mandy, listen, it's 1:49 right now. We have less than a minute left. Okay? All right. So I tell you what, why don't we just put this on hold for now?
Yes.
Go ahead and create that extra sentence, write in more detail, and on top of that, work on this a little bit more.
Yes, yes.
And then the next time I meet you, I'm going to look at your progress
Yeah.
and help you to revise it up further, okay?
All right, thank you.
You're welcome, Mandy. And I'll see you next week.
Okay,
Enjoy
bye.
your weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.